Usually my phone goes I can on a Saturday morning, so my first one's my best, so and all the rest of them are pretty good, so you can take that as you will.
Final question, it's about interference, and you've obviously been writing a lot about that. Have you had any feedback yet from the British Horse Racing Authority?
No, it is what it is, and it's a totting up system I'm not happy with. You know, I get 1,000 rides and someone has a 200 rides and we have the same penalty.
When you were sort of having that self-imposed ban, isn't it a sort of tacit admission that you can't ride within the rules?
That's exactly it. Horses will move around. There was 2 inquiries yesterday in the 2-year-old races, and you know, people know 2-year-olds run around, and there was inquiries for hardly any reason.
The question I'm driving at, I suppose, is why do you feel it particularly affects you and not other riders that are comparable in terms of number of rides, finishes that they end up in, horses that they ride?
Well, I get a lot of rides, and I know Ryan Moore gets a lot of rides, but I had a 6-dayer and a 7-dayer, so all of a sudden I have 7 days to play with, of 998 rides or something. Then it gets hard, you know.
And the totting up system is the thing that you'd like the PJA presumably particularly to address?
Yeah, I think we're penalised enough. I missed all the July meetings. Cost me probably 20 grand. Is that not enough? Did anyone else get fined like that in there?
And you think is it a fine system that you'd be advocating?
No, but I've served my time. I've missed all the July meeting. It's cost me, you know, it has cost me, and I've learnt my lesson, but why should I get done again?
Yes.
That's my point.
I suppose their point would be that if you offend on the same offence that one, not necessarily you, isn't learning the lesson.
As long as there's going to be horse racing, there's going to be interference. Simple as that.
So the rules need looking at again to accommodate the realities?
I don't mean to knock anyone down. I'm not a dirty rider, the lads will tell you that. Just sometimes the horse might drift and the guy behind you might take a precautionary check, and then it's 1 day or 2 day ban.
Richard, thank you very much for your expansive thoughts. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Indeed, thanks to Richard Hughes for that. Some interesting thoughts from him. Let's move on to Newmarket. We've got a listed race coming up. 1.5 miles is the trip here. 3-year-olds and upwards, 8 runners, and the non-runners. 1 Cayley House, 2 Gaelic Star, 3 Sea of Heartbreak. Eddie Hearn's putting up £2 overweight here on the well-backed favourite, which is Wild Cocoa. So we'll give you the runners and riders. Cayley House and non, so is Gaelic Star. So 3 is Misnar, Ted Durkin. 4 Never Forget, Kieran Fallon. 5 Opera Gal, David Probert. 6 Playstra, William Buick. 7 and non-runner. 8 Charleston Lady, Martin Lane. 9 Imperial Pippin, Martin Dwyer. 10 Monica Lou, John Fye. And 11 is Wild Cocoa, Eddie Ahern. Well, this Wild Cocoa is strongly supported here. 8 to 11 now, opened up 10 to 11. Been very well backed. Misnar 9 to 2, 8 to 1 Imperial Pippin, 9 to 1 Charleston Lady. Never Forget 12, 16's Opera Gal, Playstra 33s, and Monica Lou is 100 to 1. So the favourite well supported for Sir Henry Cecil, and she put up a good time when she won at Haydock. It was her maiden. She created a very good impression, and as I said, the time was particularly good, and she was eased down. She was valued for more than the winning margin. The winning margin was 8 lengths. She was valued for a fair bit more than that. And the second, Thubian, has gone on to win since, won his maiden at Pontefract after that, and she was just hugely impressive, really. It was just a facile success, and given the time that she was able to post just on the bridle, she could be a very useful performer in the making, Wild Cocoa, and that's why she's been so strongly backed. Misnar is second best at the moment for David Lanigan and Ted Durkin. Misnar hasn't really delivered since the Oaks, where she was runner-up to Snow Fairy. She's just been a tad disappointing for me since then, and that includes her last run at Haydock in a listed race where she was third to Fiduce and Vita Nova. She ran perfectly respectably. She's beaten just over 4 3/4 lengths. Good run. She had Crystal Capella back in fourth, who probably needed the run, and Crystal Capella, of course, come out and has won at Newmarket at the July meeting. But she just hasn't quite delivered Misnar, and she's just a little bit one-paced. She's got plenty of ability. She's got good form in the book as well, better form than is posted by the favourite. She just looks vulnerable, I think, and Wild Cocoa could be pretty useful, and might be just too good for these here this afternoon. That includes Misnar. Third best is Charleston Lady in the market for Rafe Beckett and Martin Lane. I think she's out to a little bit of improvement. She just had 3 starts, and the third of which she was second to Dorcas Lane. That was the Pretty Polly at Newmarket. That was a pretty good run from her, and there might be more to come from her. She's a Hurricane run filly. Hurricane runs tend to improve with time, and also she's got a fair bit of physical scope, and she's lightly raced too. So there might be a bit more to come from Charleston Lady. She's 8-1, but it's 8-11 Wild Coco. Really well backed here. Miesnar 9-2. 8 Charleston Lady, Imperial Pippin 8s, 14s Never Forget, Opera Gal 16s, 33s Playstra, and Monica Lou 100-1 as the rain comes down at Newmarket by. The looks of things looks pretty bleak there at the moment. Just got a few more to load, and then we'll be ready for the Newsells Park Stud Stakes. Used to be the Aphrodite Stakes, the Newsells Park now, and they go a mile and a half. I think Wild Coco will be very hard to beat, given the speed figure that she managed to run at Haydock when she won her maiden, and she did it very comfortably. Nearly ready. Let's go and join commentary with Richard.
They're off and racing. I'll never forget, wasn't the fastest into stride. No one appears that keen to make it a really fierce test early on. Opera Gal is amongst the front runners in company with Miesnar, who's settled just behind the leaders. The early pace is not strong, so it's Opera Gal who's cutting out the running. Miesnar in the blue jacket on the outside of Plasterer in the yellow. Market leader and well backed Wild Coco, gold sleeves and the pale blue jacket, racing, disputing fourth place at this stage in company with Imperial Pippin, who's just on the outside. Monica Lou comes next, and the rear two early on are Never Forget and Charleston Lady. Well, it was a steady gallop early on, but Opera Gal's not really helping David Probert by settling, and she's rather carting her way into a clear advantage as they take the early turn, leading by about 5 lengths from Plasterer in second, and the pace far more generous now. Miesnar in third, half a length to Wild Coco, length and a half to Monica Lou on the inside of Imperial Pippin as the leader continues to extend the advantage. Never Forget and Charleston Lady are the rear two. So moving up towards the centre of the racecourse, and Opera Gal is now as far as 8 lengths clear as she gallops now inside the final 7 furlongs. Plaster in yellow towing up the main group. Wild Coco is on the left in the gold sleeves. Miesnar with the white stripe down the face just ahead of Imperial Pippin. Then pretty well grouped Monica Lou with Never Forget and Charleston Lady. So the leader in the driving rain makes the way down towards the final 5 furlongs. It's Opera Gal who's still clear, about 8 lengths from Plasterer. Wild Coco moving threateningly at the front of the group, but now has to decide when to close down the leader, who still has a clear advantage. So Opera Gal with David Probert just trying to fill the tank for one last effort. A few of them are pushing and shoving in behind. Wild Coco Never Forgets made really good ground in the check colours, and then Miesnar. So Opera Gal still with a clear advantage, not as far as it was, however, as Wild Coco's rider looks to left and right, sees Miesnar and Never Forget alongside. Then behind these in 5th place is Plasterer. Opera Gal still has a lead of about 3 lengths, but Wild Coco and Miesnar are edging closer. Certainly Wild Coco is now as they run down into the dip. Opera Gal under this enterprising ride, but Wild Coco now draws alongside. Miesnar is back in third and plugging on from well back Imperial Pippin. Wild Coco with Miesnar staying on the outside. Got a length and a half to find. They've moved on from Opera Gal. Wild Coco, Miesnar continues to stay on. Not over yet. Wild Coco by half a length. Miesnar continuing to edge closer. Wild Coco maintained the advantage by a neck and just pushed out possibly a shade cozily. Sees off Miesnar, who at least made the winner pull out some of the stops. Opera Gal in third, ahead of Imperial Pippin. Never Forget didn't get home in 5th, and they're finishing well strung out.
Strongly run race courtesy of Opera Gal, but Wild Coco has won, and she's probably won with a little bit in hand in the end from the game and tough Miesnar in second place. The winner 4-5. Now market racing, they are assembling down at the start for a juvenile hurdle. 2 miles into furlong, and there are 8 hurdles to jump here, 9 runners.
1 minute to the off.
Countrywide Flame 5-2, 7-2 Arctic Reach, Janet's Pearl 7-2, 8's Cool Newport, Brick Dean 10s, 10s at Low J, Arizona Highs 14s, Calcon Bay 33s, and Go 66-1.
Yeah, Countrywide Flame heads the market 5-2, looking to give Dougie Costello a welcome winner back after breaking his leg on the eve of Cheltenham. He'll have no doubt schooled his horse, John Quinn's horses, on good form in the flat, and he bought him off Kevin Ryan privately, I do believe.
Okay, well, I thought, looking on paper, that was my idea of the winner, because I thought it might go out in front, providing it jumped, that'll be fine. Looking at them in the paddock, there's very little of the horse. Sort of slightly put me off. I mean,